Joe Davis, Orr Hershiser, and Alano Rizzo. Rockies took the opener 10-7 on Thursday. Dodgers countered with a 6-2 win last night. And here's their lineup for Game 3, brought to you by Honda. Chris Taylor bats leadoff with the left-handed starter on the mound. And it's Seager and Turner. Them at 2 and 3. That's about the only thing that you would normally expect out of a lineup that is in this one. Gutierrez bats cleanup. Hernandez hitting 5th. Then Bellinger slides down to 6, as Alana told us. Austin Barnes catches Alex Wood. Brett Eibner makes his first start in his return to the big leagues. Tyler Anderson, 27 years old, out of Las Vegas, was supposed to start on Thursday, but had his start bumped back a couple of days because of some soreness he's dealing with in his left knee. You know, the number is not good overall, but his last time out was his best start. 1 run over 6 innings against a good Diamondbacks lineup, and he fanned a career-high 10.
Looking for some good home cooking here. He is very good at Coors Field. 15 or more starts, the #1 ERA in the history of this place at 3.42. Mostly fastball, changeup. And for the Dodgers and their approach, when it's low, let it go. When it's high, let it fly. You think he's a knuckleballer? He's not. It's his changeup. It has great depth and really moves out of the strike zone when he keeps it down.
And it was the best that it's been all year in that win against Arizona last weekend. Overall, though, 27 runs allowed in 36 innings for Tyler Anderson. Chris Taylor hitting leadoff for the second time this year. Been a lot of Kike Hernandez leading off against left-handed pitching, but Kike in the 5 spot today. Taylor in there to get us started. Anderson with a deep breath, home with the first pitch, and off we go with strike 1. The Dodgers 12 and 4 in their last 16 games. That's the best in the majors in that stretch. The offense has keyed it. They've averaged 6 runs per game during that 12 and 4 run. Before that, they were averaging about 4. Bouncing ball to Arenado at 3rd, and the Gold Glover makes it look easy for out number 1. Take a look at our Land Rover Performance Spotlight as Corey Seager comes to the plate. Had his first multi-hit game of the month of May last night. Early on this season in this ballpark against Anderson, went deep.
In response to some of his offers, it looked like the frustration was really building. You could see it around the batting cage before the game yesterday. But now it looks like the swing is really starting to come back.
Doubled home a pair on a 3-0 pitch. Lining a ball down the left field line in that 5-run second inning. That was plenty for Clayton Kershaw. Strike 1. Hitting below 200 in May before last night. First time he got multiple hits this month. Anderson home with an 0-1, and a fastball catches the top of the zone to make it 0-2.
You know, when I think about Tyler Anderson, I think about the left knee, and he's got to have 2 extra days. That might be the reason his ERA is so high. He might be something that he's been dealing with that can really affect your command. So you're pitching through it, and you're saying, I'm good enough to pitch, but I'm really not good enough to pitch well. And it gets to a point where maybe they can find a place that they can slip somebody in because they want to get rid of it completely because his effectiveness has gone down.
Saw the knee brace on under the pants. He's worn it in a couple of side sessions, but never in game. Gets Seager with that changeup, 2 gone.
This is his out pitch. He really doesn't have a breaking ball to say. There's nobody that really scouts a slider or a curveball from him. He has a little cutter that'll look like a slider every once in a while when he comes around it, but it's really fastball changeup.
Now a guy that has dominated him. You see the numbers there. 7 of 12. And in addition to that home run, he's doubled against him twice. Strike 1. Dodgers trying to get Turner going again. Hit above 400 in April. Had 11 doubles. So far in May, hitting around 200 without an extra base hit. On the 0-1, Turner takes a fastball up and in, and it's a ball and a strike.
All three Dodger hitters being aggressive, swinging at the first pitch from Anderson.
Low strike. He's gotten a high strike in this inning already, and now home plate umpire Bill Miller gives that strike at the bottom of the knees.
Quick pitch from Anderson, abbreviated his leg kick, and that ball did look low, but PitchCast has it as catching the bottom. Remember, it's not the top of the kneecap, it's the hollow of the knee that the strike zone ends at.
And he pulls that one into left center for a base hit. Right after he pounded the bottom of the zone for a strike, Turner goes down there and digs out a single.
Well, I was completely wrong. This is the pitch I said the Dodger lineup needs to lay off of, but Justin Turner does an amazing job going down there and digging that out. That ball is low and away. Might even barely hit the dirt if he let it go.
So a 2-out single keeps this inning alive for Franklin Gutierrez. He's been nursing that left side, really. It started out as a hamstring, migrated up to his hip. Doing his best to stay loose. Taking strike one from Anderson. Doesn't feel 100%, but feels well enough to play. This is what he was brought here to do, to face left-handed pitching.
We've seen an awful lot of good at bats when he's been healthy and in there against lefties too.
Takes a ball. It's 1-1. He's played in this ballpark before when he was a center fielder for the Seattle Mariners in an interleague contest, and he said back then that was when he loved big outfields. He loved to run into the gaps and make plays. Not that guy anymore. Expansive outfield presents a challenge now. Turner at first with 2 gone, and Anderson checks on him again. Dodgers have seen Tyler Anderson twice this year and had success against him. 7 runs on 9 hits over 10 innings. Guy that made his major league debut a year ago in early June. Now in his second season, deals 1-1 upstairs, and it's 2-1.
You're predominantly a 2-pitch pitcher, and you're going to usually live away. You better have one other thing to get hitters off of that. And what Anderson hasn't had is a fastball into most of the righties. So they can just search for something outside. And all of a sudden the barrel's out there. Then they just have to time it up between the changeup and the fastball.
Here's a 2-1. And a strike evens the count.
Going away.
Turner off of first with 2 gone, and another 2-2 is fouled at the plate. We'll do it again. Gutierrez, the veteran, in his first year with the Dodgers. 34 years old now, 12th year with Major League time. He began with the Cleveland Indians, then to the Mariners, although it all began back with the Dodgers, team that signed him initially out of Venezuela when he was 17 years old. Anderson gets him with a changeup. Got Seager with a change as well, and works the scoreless first. Here comes Alex Wood. Is brought to you by Honda. DJ LeMahieu bats leadoff for the first time this year, with Charlie Blackmon getting his first day off. Ian Desmond in the 2 spot, then Arenado, Reynolds, and Gonzalez, who's had a huge series. Babaleka started all 3 games at short with Trevor Story out. Gerardo Parra makes his first start of the weekend, and Ryan Hannigan does the catching for Tyler Anderson. Alex Wood is 3-0 for the first time in his big league career. And how about his start Monday at Pittsburgh? The first Dodger ever, franchise history, to have 11 strikeouts in a game where he went 5 innings or less.
Wow, that shows the dominance in his stuff, and it has been really, really good this year. And a guy that really belongs in this rotation now because of the quality of his pitching.
His first one is a strike.
Fastball, changeup, breaking ball has been outstanding. All 3 of those pitches the league is hitting under 200 against.
Quickly ahead of LeMahieu, 0-2.
I really like Alex Wood's makeup too. He's really never backed down, even on the games where he doesn't have his best stuff. When he was battling injuries, he's always been that tough kid on the mound that just says, I'm going to keep coming at you. He's a fighter.
And on 3 pitches, he gets the reigning National League batting champ LeMahieu to start his 9th.
Breaking ball down and in, a pitch that he and Rick Honeycutt have worked very hard at, and he is forcing himself to throw it more and more.
Sure is confident right now. I mean, this is what we've seen the last few times out. But looks no different through 3 pitches in this one than he has the last few weeks. Ian Desmond climbs in, hitting 2nd for the first time for the Rockies. So 2 guys spending their first nights in their particular spots in the order. LeMahieu and Desmond at the top. It's ball 1. Desmond mostly 5th and 6th since he debuted in late April, following the hand injury during spring training. That's a base hit to center.
Desmond kind of just pushes this ball to center field. Alex Wood got the width right, got it in, but just didn't get the height right. He was trying to go down and in, left it up.
So 1 out base runner for the Rockies, and here's Arenado. The Dodgers did a nice job with last night. Clayton Kershaw induced a pair of ground ball double plays against him. Was hitless in 4 ABs after a 3-hit night in the opener. Kershaw became the first pitcher ever to beat the Rockies 20 times. Mentioned it last night, but he was tied with Randy Johnson before getting win number 20. That's a strike.
We're so used to Clayton being a ball of fire on the day he pitches. He's kind of a ball of fire on the days he doesn't pitch now too.
In a different way.
Yeah, he's got like 5 days of energy.
Showed it during the pregame show right before we came on. Some of his antics in the dugout. Runner takes off. Arenado takes the ball. Barnes' throw is high, and Desmond holds onto the bag safely.
Well, Ian Desmond does a nice job reading Alex Wood's intentions. Is he coming to first to pick me off, or is he going home? And with the sun over there right now, there's a high risk in continuing to pick off. He read it properly and got a very nice jump.
His 2nd steal, and a man in scoring position for the guy that's driven in more than any player in the National League the last 2+ seasons. He's also hit more home runs than anybody during that stretch. That includes 2 against Wood. You mentioned it off of the top. Alex Wood, as good as he's been overall, has not been good here.
No, he has not. He has some demons. I think it was April 24th of last year. Got knocked around an awful lot here. Sometimes when you're getting knocked around here too, your outing looks absolutely extra worse because your manager has to leave you in.
But he gets Arenado, 2 away. What do you mean by that? Just because the bullpen?
You got to protect the bullpen, and so you got bad stuff, and normally you might be taken out for the long man. But let's say you're pitching the first game of the series, they got to leave you in. It's kind of like what they did with Ryu. Ryu's line a lot worse than if he was in a normal ballpark where they could go to the long man.
20 runs in 16 innings here for Alex, who faces Mark Reynolds with the man at second and 2 gone. Slides in a strike. Reynolds already within 2 home runs of his total from last year. Not expected to be an everyday guy, but an injury to Desmond opened the door. And even when Desmond was healthy, Reynolds was their best hitter over the first month, so there was no way that Black was going to remove him from the lineup. Quickly 0-2.
Reynolds' swing has gotten so much better. I mean, come here and you see the stats, but then you watch him for a few games, and he used to be long to long. Now he is short to long. He's still going to look like he has a big swing but it's all out front. He's a lot quicker to the ball. His hands are a lot calmer when his front foot hits, and he's launching the bat from a shorter place to get to the ball.
Wood goes up with a fastball. It's ball 1. It's had some of the highest strikeout totals in baseball history, including the highest strikeout total in a single season. But he's cut down on the strikeout percentage. He's cut down on the walk rate. The contact percentage has gone way up. Went up last year, but the power numbers went down. So what's been special about what he's doing this year is that contact percentage is still up, but he's back to his usual power hitting. Two and two.
Alex Wood showing him some respect in the past with all the strikeouts and the big swing. He'd go right after him here, even with a man in scoring position. But the numbers he's putting up right now, even you go ahead 0-2, trying to get him to chase.
That's been off of second, and a 2-2 from Wood. In the air to right. Brett Eibner is there, and the inning is over. A 1-out single from Desmond, but no damage done by the Rockies in the first. Game 3 of this 7-game road trip, all through the National League West. Dodgers splitting the first 2 with the Rockies, losing 10-7 in the opener, winning 6-2 last night. Kike Hernandez batting 5th tonight. leading off the second against Tyler Anderson, who fires a fastball for strike one.
5 for 5 Anderson is out there with first pitch strikes. Some because of Dodger aggressiveness, but he's getting it close.
Off speed, and it's 0-2.
Two left-handers on the mound today that are just attacking. Their body language, their ability to throw strikes.
You're right, there's kind of a similar look to him. Kike rips one to the left field corner. That's a base hit. Bouncing off the wall. On his way to second with a leadoff double. Dave Roberts said he wanted Kike's bat in the lineup. Really likes the way he looks at the plate right now. And you get a snapshot of why.
Swing is shorter and quicker. He has no trouble with that weight transfer, keeping that front leg in the air. Really good balance and coordination to be able to do that. You don't see many big league hitters have just one leg in the air the whole time while the pitcher's going in his windup.
Cody Bellinger now. Home run number 7 last night to lead the club, even though he's only been here for 16 games of the 36 that the team's played. Anderson misses ball one. We look at the Coors Light cold hard facts for this red hot start for him. Matching up with Puig and Kemp in their first 16 career games. Same number of home runs as Kemp. More RBIs than either one of those guys. It's been a special start for a special 21-year-old first baseman. On 1-0, Bellinger takes ball 2.
And with the success, his personality hasn't changed a bit. Still a very relaxed, fun-loving kid. And I like the fact that he carries himself very relaxed, not during the game, but before the game and after the game, because this can wear on you. All of a sudden, you're thrust in the spotlight, interview requests, fans, autographs, the whole lifestyle all of a sudden can weigh on you and it can make you tired when all of a sudden you're playing the game.
Hitters count 2-0, and he swats it foul. It's 2-1. His Instagram followers had doubled within like 3 or 4 days of him coming up to the majors, as a reflection of how quickly that can come at you. And he had only posted 1 or 2 pictures in that stretch. We saw Carlos Gonzalez in right last night, trying to pretend like he had a chance to catch Bellinger's fly ball. We were thrown off by it. So is Cody. That's foul, and it's 2-2. And we saw him get back to the dugout and say, you know, kind of what the heck? Because Gonzalez, on a ball that wound up near the back end of the first deck there beyond the right field wall, he started to settle, look up, put his glove up as if he was going to catch it. And Bellinger said he saw it, and for a couple of steps thought, oh my gosh, I better get running. And up here, we're taught to read the fielders to try and tell how far the ball is hit. So we were a little bit deked out too. Got back to the dugout though and learned from his teammates. That's something Gonzalez is known for.
I was talking to him before the game about it. I said, look, where are you playing now? He goes, oh, I'm playing first. I said, good, because if Gonzalez gets on, you can razz him back. And you can stand there at first and say, look, I got as many days in the big leagues as you got years, okay?
Yeah.
Don't do that to me. Act like you're a tough guy. He's like, I don't think I'm going to do that. I said, yeah, I don't think you will either.
He's worked it full. And here it comes. Runner took off and he fouled it off.
3-2 count, nobody on, or 3-2 count, man on second. No out. You see this home run. Watch Carlos Gonzalez here in right field. Yep, he's going to camp under it. Oh, no, he's not. Somebody in about the 10th row is.
Did that to Jock Peterson on a ball that he hit into the second deck last year. So it's nothing personal, Cody. It's not that he's just picking on the new guy. Nobody yet has. Anderson gets him swinging for the first out of the second. So he's now 3 for 9 in the series. All 6 outs that he's made have been strikeouts.
Cody looking around saying maybe he didn't stop right there because he quick stepped him and quick came to set. All of a sudden threw the fastball by him. It was pretty close. Johnny Cueto has made a huge impact on a lot of people. There are a lot of pitchers now deviating from the norm as far as rhythm with their mechanics.
Austin Barnes up now. Been a good stretch for him. A double in 4 straight games that he's played in. Included an RBI double during the late rally for the Dodgers in the opener, where they fell short 10-7. 0-1.
So much more responsibility when you come up and you're called on now to catch every 5th day or every 7th day and maybe 2 days in a row. You're not just up here for a cup of coffee and to back somebody up. You have a lot of responsibility. A lot more studying going on for Austin Barnes. A lot more brushing the edges off of his game as far as targets and pitch calling and how to deal with the personalities of the different pitchers now. He's doing a good job handling it all and learning every day.
Strokes this one to center. Parra started on. It sails over his head. Austin Barnes extra bases again. An RBI double in the second to begin the scoring.
Short, quick stroke, and the second time we've seen a center fielder in this series get a misread. Jock Peterson and Clayton Kershaw's game got a little bit of a misread, broke in on a ball to center field. Now this one to Parra fooled him the whole way. Austin Barnes hit that ball very, very well with a very short swing.
There's Blackman getting a rare day off, and Parra, who is a former Gold Glover in center, just didn't have a great read off of the bat. So a man at second with 1 gone, and it's Brett Eibner. Fastball over the inside, strike 1.
You know, we talk about vision for hitters. Well, the vision for the center fielder is not real good either. You know, the hitter in the shadow, then the bright sunlight, you got shadow behind you, so it's not real easy for them. They're strictly reading the swing, maybe a little bit of the sound.
1-1. So yeah, at the plate you talk about the ball traveling in and out of shadows, but it's doing the same here if you're a center fielder trying to read it off of the bat. That ball quickly becomes very bright once it cuts through the shade.
The hardest thing too is the one right at you. You don't have that third dimension to figure out where to run, and you've really got to do, you know, catch that ball with experience almost of the other variables that you're given.
And that's regardless of if it's sunny or dark.
Right, exactly.
On 1-1, runner takes off, throw down to third, not in time, and Barnes has stolen a bat. Pitch was called a ball, so the Dodgers have a man at third with a 2-1 count on Eibner.
Well, that's the second Dodger attempts to steal third. Kike Hernandez tried it, and it was a foul ball by Bellinger, but this one he gets a really good jump and gets in there. You've got to get an extra big lead and an extra good jump at second. That throw for the catcher is shorter.
Rarely do you see an infield come in this early in a game at Coors Field, but they do here. This hole's get a lot bigger for Eibner. Waits on this 2-1 and takes one that's not close. Hannigan reaches as far as he can to keep it from getting by him.
Wants it low and away, and it goes up and away. Boy, he's having trouble seeing the ball too.
A 3-1, and Eibner walks. So just like yesterday, the Dodgers generating something in the second. They had a 5-run second yesterday in the 6-2 win. And they've got him in first and third, already one in the bank, and Alex Wood coming up.
Be interesting to watch the Dodgers right here with Alex Wood. Pretty good bunter. Be heads up if you're the Rockies for the squeeze. Dodgers did it the other day. We're trying to attempt kind of a little safety squeeze with Chase Utley at third and Clayton Kershaw, and they got the bunt down, but they got Utley at home.
Also seen them execute the play where the runner at first gets hung up between first and second, giving the runner at third a chance to break home. Wood squares, lays it down perfectly. Barnes scores. Oh, not about the only man in baseball that's going to get an out at first. Can't do it any better if you're Alex Wood, though, and the Dodgers lead 2-0.
Let's take a look at the Morongo Casino slow-mo cam on this one. Great angle on this bunt by Alex Wood. When you go to third, the runner can come right away, or he can follow the third baseman in and then break after the ball goes to first. Alex Wood's bunt is so good, Austin Barnes can come right away. That's a lot of practice paying off and gives yourself a 2-0 lead.
And gets it to the back to the top of the order for Chris Taylor with a runner in scoring position.
Goes back to the stat I want to invent about the little things for pitchers.
Right. Strike one. I think you're onto something with that.
And the more you watch, if you watch all the things about holding runners, like so, Anderson gives up a stolen base to third. Wood, the other pitcher, gets the bunt down. It's an actual run. The game might end up being a game where Wood wins by 1 run, or the Dodgers do, and you got different sides of the execution for small ball.
Taylor pops it up, and in that bright sunshine, it'll be Reynolds or LeMahieu. The second baseman, LeMahieu, has it, and the Dodgers are done in the second. But they scored twice with the bottom of the order. On to the bottom half in a 2-0 game. As we go down to Alana.
There is on both teams, of course, Mother's Day being tomorrow, but Major League Baseball is celebrating Mom all weekend long with a lot of different pink for a good cause, commemorating each Mother's Day with the Going to Bat Against Breast Cancer program. It was launched in 2006, guys, to raise awareness and funds for research towards the fight against breast cancer. Game-used Louisville Slugger pink bats, as you see there, are going to be used today and tomorrow throughout, and then funds raised from the auction are going to go single there. Raised to the auction are going to go to Susan G. Komen and Stand Up to Cancer as well.
All right, Alana. Carlos Gonzalez contributed in that base hit to open the second.
Cody Bellinger now gets a shot to talk to Carlos about deking him on the home run there. I want to mention it.
He's not going to do it, is he? Knowing what we know about Cody.
Alana, you do a one-on-one with him tomorrow, and I want to know about this conversation.
He's not calling him out.
I feel like I do a one-on-one with Cody Bellinger every single day. His numbers warrant it, though.
I hope you do it the rest of his career.
So the leadoff man on for the Rockies. Here's Pat Valleca. Alex Wood pitches to him. Misses, ball one. Valleca started all 3 games in this series because Trevor Story is on the disabled list. Story struggling mightily this year, but the word is it is a legitimate disabled list stint. He legitimately hurt his shoulder. They're not just trying to get him some time off to reset. Sky high pop fly into left for Gutierrez. He finds it for the first out. Talked about it the first couple nights of the series, but I'm again a little thrown off by how dead it is in here. With a first place team, best record they've had at this point in franchise history, most wins in the National League, and on and on and on.
You're so right. It seems like more of a golf crowd. Very quiet, and when they cheer, it's really when the scoreboard kind of prompts them.
Here's Gerardo Parra for his first at-bat of the series, and Wood pours in a fastball strike. And it's not any knock on Colorado fans, because I feel like we've been here before where the environment has been good. When the team is not as good. Oh, 1. Here comes Wood. That's a ball. It's 1-1. On Parra, who joined the Rockies last year and had the worst year of his career. A lot of that had to do with the first trip to the DL in his career when he had a really bad ankle sprain that he suffered in a collision with Trevor Story going after a pop-up. Lost his job to David Dahl. Got it back because Dahl began this year on the DL. Breaks his bat on a roller that's up the middle. Taylor gets to it and then heaves it away. Tried to make a sparkling play to get the out at second, but everybody's safe, and they're at first and second with 1 out.
Chris Taylor flashing the range on this ball, playing him over to pull, and then when he gets to it, trying to flash the leather, didn't feel like he had enough time to transfer and get the force out, and he definitely doesn't have enough time to get the ball to first. So made a risky attempt, and it just didn't pay off. Odds of making that play, though, are probably about 20%. Be able to flip the ball that far and quickly.
And with the momentum taken in the opposite direction.
Really hard, even if you do the exchange and make an accurate throw. Now you think about doing it just your glove.
Hannigan picked up earlier this year and activated when Tony Walters went down on the concussion disabled list. And he's been good in his couple weeks up. Especially against Southpaws. 2 on with 1 out in a 2-0 game. And Wood goes fastball for strike 1.
You know, this is the kind of situation that with Clayton Kershaw on the mound yesterday, you expect him to get out of the jam. With any other human being that's a pitcher, you worry that things are going to unravel.
Oh, and 2. Is that right now for you what's most impressive about Clayton? His ability to minimize damage when there's traffic?
Because there's such an expectation that he's going to dominate a game, and then when he does, it's just fun to watch him pitch. I think, yeah, when you know he is struggling as far as for his high standards, but he's pitching around traffic and finding ways to prevent runs, yeah, that is very, very impressive.
It's 1-2. Because it seems like, you know, where there have been stretches where you know he'll dominate. Right now, you know he'll get out of a situation that's a bit hairy.
This could be a really scary year for the National League because he really hasn't found his best stuff yet, and he's 6-2. And so he could be in for a really big statistical year.
A 1-2, and Hannigan takes ball 2.
And it might not be the sabermetric stats that he'll be big in this year. He might be just be in the win-loss column. It might be, you know, not in the strikeout column this year, but just in the grind it out, team gets me support, I find ways to get out of jams and win the games that he used to get a no decision in, maybe, or a squeaky loss. And that's when you can really have a huge year.
Here's a 2-2, and Wood gets Hannigan swinging. 94 with a fastball. And that's been part of the story for Alex. Or we saw him come out of the bullpen during spring training, and then early on this season hitting 94 and 95, and you're thinking, oh, so his stuff plays up out of the pen, but then he moves into the rotation and he's maintained that velocity.
Yeah, he was really frustrated a few years back that the velocity was going down, his rhythm and mechanics were off. He went back to square one, tried to reinvent himself back to the college pitcher and the early pro that he was, and was mainly studying and getting his arm up and really increasing that leverage. And I think we're finally seeing the consistent results of all that work. The work has been put in, but there's been some injuries that have gotten in the way. And so he put the work in, knew where he wanted to go, but the injuries kept getting in the way of the leverage and the arm speed and everything he was working on with Rick Honeycutt. But now, healthy, good mechanics, good leverage, and really feeling very confident. Been doing it over and over and over again so you can execute it in the big moments in a game.
Facing his counterpart Anderson and getting strike one. It's a nagging foot and ankle injury on his landing foot that he dealt with when he arrived with the Dodgers at the deadline in 2015. Alex, a very tough character. He didn't even talk about it then publicly. Didn't come out until the following offseason that he'd been dealing with something. 1-2. And then last year he'd really gotten it going before he had the elbow impingement in early June. Shut him down until August. Started to work back, came back in September, and had 5 scoreless relief outings after returning. That included a game in the postseason. A 1-2 to Anderson. And 4 punch-outs over 2 scoreless innings for Alex Wood. Off to another good start, pitching with a 2-0 lead. Sportsnet LA is brought to you by BMW. See a Southern California BMW Center today for exceptional offers, or visit SoCalBMW.com. And by Energy Upgrade California. Corey Seager, 2, 3, and 4 for the Dodgers here in the third against Tyler Anderson, who's just happy that he's out of the second. But 2 more runs allowed, and for whatever reason, it's been an issue for him all year.
Well, second inning, I don't know why it would really bother him, other than maybe he just doesn't find himself. The hitters don't see him in the first, and all of a sudden the second just creeps up on him. That's a blip on the screen for me. That's not something you can coach.
Struck out Seager his first time. And here in the third, went downstairs and got him to offer for strike 1.
You know, first inning, you can adjust a guy's bullpen work. How you coming out of the bullpen? What are you doing? Did you face a few hitters mentally down there? All of a sudden the hitter shocks you and you're not throwing strikes.
Seager smacks one to third. Arenado has it and throws high, and a collision at first, but they get the out, and it looks like everybody's okay. Arenado yet to commit an error this season, and Reynolds helps him keep that.
He made a nice play. This ball takes an odd hop. Talking to some of the infielders, I said, does the infield feel hard to you? As we watch that collision there, fortunately nobody even comes out of it with a Charlie horse. Right about there with Reynolds' knee coming at Corey. You think, uh-oh. They said that the infield is sporadic. It's soft in some places and hard in others, and that's one of the worst ones to be able to play. I said it to Chris Taylor, and Chris goes, yeah, but I can't complain about any infield at the big league level. I said, yeah, how's it out there? Is it pretty hard? And he goes, well, it's inconsistent. And I said, well, after you're in the big leagues for about 3 years, then you can start complaining, because that'll be what you're used to, is the perfect fields.
Turner singled against Anderson his first time. And an 0-1 pitch. Takes it low. That's down to first and no swing. It's 1-1. Turner against Anderson is now 8 for 13 in his career. These guys have a little bit of a history that goes back to Anderson's college days when Turner was a pro. Actually had the same college coach, George Horton. Anderson at Oregon, Turner at Cal State Fullerton. Fly ball to left center. Ian Desmond comes over, and in center it's Parra to make the catch. Boy, a bit of an adventure out there without their everyday center fielder in Blackman, and with the conditions with the sunshine they're dealing with.
Here's your Volkswagen replay of this one. And you are so right about the communication and the issues and the trust. And actually the angles that they're taking to this ball too. It's about catching the ball first, but when they both come together, usually center fielder goes forward and the left fielder or right field goes behind. It looked like they were on the same route.
2 up and 2 down, and it's Gutierrez taking ball 1. So you've got a guy in Parra making his second start in center this year, and a guy in Desmond who's only been playing the outfield for 1 year. That's what it looks like when those guys get together. A 1-0 delivery. Tried to go backdoor but missed, and it's 2-0. Gutierrez, one of the 3 strikeout victims of Anderson so far. Fanned a career high 10 last Saturday against Arizona. On 2-0. Finds the zone for strike 1. Two and 2. Got that changeup working pretty nicely.
That's the one you want to hack at because it's up a little bit, so I don't mind Gutierrez attacking that ball. Ball's like mid-thigh. And he's got the super really good one with that arm speed. It's when it starts at the knees and ends up at the ankles.
Ground ball to third. That's Arenado. And a 1-2-3 inning against the heart of the Dodger order. On to the bottom of the third in a 2-0 game. of the third. We welcome you back inside. Joe Davis and Orr Hershiser. And at some point, somebody's going to have to come out of the rotation. The Dodgers now have like 7 or 8 guys that could start. But Alex Wood continuing to make his case to stay.
He really is a guy that is not even a candidate for me anymore as you watch these guys throw. I mean, of course you can pick on Ryu a little bit after his outing here in the first game, but Ryu has a track record. If he's healthy, he can show that he can pitch at the big league level. It's a great problem to have. And I think, you know, they'll just continue to work around Clayton Kershaw's starts. And, you know, give guys a little extra rest. I don't know if they'll go to a 6-man, but they'll definitely be on a 5-man rotation with Clayton, and everybody else, it'll still be up in the air, I think.
1-2 on DJ LeMahieu starting this third. Well, if it's up to Clayton, it won't be a 6-man.
Well, he could be on, you know, his own 5-man rotation.
Okay. And
everybody else could work around that. And it can work according to when a guy gets knocked out. If he gets knocked out a little early, if they extend a guy like, you know, Urias had a little longer outing, or Maeda had a little longer outing, all of a sudden he had to go on the DL because of the hamstring. So you just don't know how it's all going to work out, other than for that big fella, it's going to be every 5th day. And I think everybody else is a movable part.
Here's a 2-2. LeMahieu drags a bouncing ball to the hole. It's short. No chance for Seager. He'll have to hustle after that one because LeMahieu had his mind set on second. He'll hold it first, a leadoff single.
Alex Wood with some zeros up there on the board, but he has had traffic every inning. The Rockies have gotten somebody on. This is the one that's gotten on the earliest. Gonzalez got on there with a base hit. Desmond had a base hit as the second hitter, and now LeMahieu. No easy innings, but throwing the ball really well.
Yeah, not a whole lot of hard contact against him. And Desmond has one of those 4 singles and looks at a strike.
You know, what's really interesting is that a lot of the balls that have been put in play off Alex Wood have been when he hasn't had his best stuff in the new mechanics. And maybe some of these balls finding holes, there's going to be some new data with a guy who's throwing 94 for 6-7 innings, and a guy who has a curveball and doesn't just default to the changeup. Some of these balls finding holes might be just because he's throwing the ball differently now.
Ahead of Desmond, 0-2. He's given up those 4 hits, but he's also struck out 4. Barnes sets the target low and away. Here comes Wood, and he gets Desmond for his 5th punch out.
Boy, it's not only good stuff, it is well located. When you get a lot of weak contact that he's been getting, balls finding holes, but then you get to a count like that where you need to make a pitch, you want this on the edge or a ball, he executes it perfectly.
Mentioned it off of the top, but he had those 11 Ks over 5 innings against Pittsburgh his last time out. That was a franchise record for the most Ks in an outing of 5 innings or less. Arenado now behind it, strike 1.
Arenado really the reason that the Dodgers have won yesterday, and another big at bat here. Clayton Kershaw induced the double play out of him twice. Could have been big Rocky innings yesterday. He's a guy who's hit Clayton pretty well.
Whoa, great catch by Bellinger. So he was more caught off guard by the pickoff throw than LeMahieu. Point of the night where he's not dealing with his son over there anymore. 0-2 as Arenado chases Wood. Doesn't appear to be seeing him very well.
10 pitches this inning for Alex Wood, and 9 of them are strikes. A little help on that one to keep the ratio.
Taking a while getting his signs from Barnes here, so he'll ask for time and they'll reset it.
Change up, fastball away, no. Fastball up, no. Slider, no. Fastball up.
On an 0-2. Ball one. Nolan Arenado, 26 years old, from Southern California, Lake Forest, California. Went to El Toro High School. And as you know, a big Dodger fan growing up. Always dreamed of playing for the Dodgers. A 1-2. And Wood struck him out twice.
Arenado is not seeing the ball well here. This is a ball out of Alex's hand and never makes it back to the strike zone. Well, I guess it did kind of come back to the middle. Arenado sitting soft away, gets not a changeup that would have stayed out there, but a down and in breaking ball.
Wood has now faced 12 hitters and struck out half of them. Mark Reynolds with a runner at first and 2 gone, looks at ball one. Lined out to right his first time. Homers and the RBIs, good for 3rd in the National League. One and one.
You can tell hitters that last pitch is coming and it's really hard to hit. That was just an absolutely perfect pitch.
Rockies with at least 1 base runner in all 3 innings, but Wood holding him off of the board thus far. And ready for a 1-1 pitch to Reynolds. That gets him ahead 1-2.
Missed his spot there, and Reynolds missed the pitch. That was a mistake. Alex Wood shrugged, Reynolds shrugging. Both didn't execute. Cost Reynolds a strike.
Mayhew the runner at first. He's got good speed. Bellinger holds him. Wood to the plate, 1-2. His 7th strikeout over the first 3 innings. Alex Wood putting on a show.
second base in the absence of Logan Forsythe, and Chris may have an opportunity to continue to play there for at least another 7 to 10 days, maybe even 2 weeks. Logan Forsythe running the bases today. Dave Roberts said that he's going to go out on a rehab assignment on Tuesday, likely as the designated hitter. They do think that Logan will be activated at some point on the Dodgers' upcoming homestand. The caveat there is blissfully, after San Francisco, guys, we go home for 10 days. So at some point within that homestand, expect Forsythe to return.
Yeah, Dave Roberts doesn't like to put timetables on things, but that was a pretty loose timetable when he said that he could come back on the homestand. That's a strike on Hernandez, because it's a 10 game, but I think a 12-day stretch, so like half a month window that he's given for Forsythe to return.
He's locked in.
Kike doubled, first hit for the Dodgers in that 2-run second inning, and crushed it into the left field corner. 1-1. Cue shot foul, and it's 1-2. Anderson, formerly one of the top prospects in the Rockies system, and was ready to break down the door and make his major league debut in 2015 when he suffered a stress fracture in his pitching elbow. That was during spring training. Wound up missing the entire year. Hernandez pulls one that's caught at third by Arenado. Might have mistimed his jump by a touch, but his athleticism allowed him to adjust and catch it.
Catches everything on the ground. Now he's catching stuff in the air too. This is unfair.
So 1 out for Bellinger. He and Ichiro, the only guys that have won 4 consecutive Gold Gloves to open a career. Ichiro remarkably did it in his first 10 seasons. Strike one on Bellinger. We've told this story before, but in that 2015 year where Anderson was out, the tough thing was he didn't really have a timetable for the injury. Didn't know how soon that hairline fracture would repair itself. It's a strike, and it's 0-2. So he spent the entire baseball season living in a hotel in Scottsdale, Arizona. Never thought about renting an apartment. Was always a week or 2 away from getting things charged up, going to a minor league assignment, but just never got there. 1-2. You know, you get into the second half and it's, oh, I'm running out of time, and then suddenly it's September and you've lost an entire year. Finally got back on the mound in the Dominican Fall League, and that set him up to be able to make his major league debut last year. Fouled off, still 1-2. Talk about purgatory, sitting in a hotel in Scottsdale all summer long when you thought you were this close to being a major leaguer for the first time.
It's not bad if you're in a big league hotel, but you're not in a big league hotel when you're down there in a minor league rehab.
Almost hits him here, and the count evens. Guess there are worse places as far as towns than Scottsdale, but still.
Oh, Scottsdale's nice.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Hannigan wants it down and away. Anderson gets it there, but Bellinger takes it, and he's worked the count full. So Anderson then started last season in the minors and made his debut in early June. Had a good rookie year with an ERA around 3.5 and had the lowest average exit velocity in baseball. His payoff gets Bellinger. So Bellinger 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts. Find out if you're a Dodgers good luck charm and purchase a 5-game weekend plan starting at only $20 a ticket. If the Dodgers win all 5 games, and you'll win 2 tickets to Fan Appreciation Day in September. Go to Dodgers.com/mini-plans. Austin Barnes, RBI double to begin the scoring his first time up there. One and 0. Talked about Barnes and the work he's done defensively, guiding the staff. Kind of taking a step back as far as his thought process at the plate, trying to simplify things. Yanks this one foul, and it's 1-1. Said the tendency is when you first get into the majors for everybody to try to be perfect, to try so hard to stay there. And he played 20 games each of the last 2 years in the major leagues, but never had solid footing where he felt like he had a job to keep. Made the opening day roster this year, a little more security. He's gone back to what he used to do, which is just try to simplify it, just hit it. Checks his swing, fouls it off, 1-2.
I think sometimes hitters give pitchers too much credit, and pitchers give hitters too much credit. It is a game of see the ball, hit the ball, and throw the ball over the plate with your best stuff. Trying to be too fine on either side makes it really complicated. Austin has a tremendous amount of ability. I really, when I watch him play, I don't even think of him as a catcher because he's that good an athlete. There's just so many things that he can do on a baseball field. He's not going to really hit for tremendous power, but he's got really good power. Fast, good hands, good arm. Very nimble behind the plate and can play other positions. When he comes out from behind home plate, it's not like you're just trying to find a place to put him. He actually is a pretty good defender almost anywhere.
On 1-2. Takes it in the dirt. Count goes to 2-2. Dodgers trying to move to within a half game of the Rockies and set up a chance to steal first place away tomorrow in this series finale with Julio Urias taking the ball. Here's a 2-2, and Barnes fouls it back. Dodgers the best in baseball over the last few weeks, 12-4 in their last 16 games.
Win tonight will make tomorrow's game feel really like a lot of fun. You know, last game of a series, leaving, going to San Francisco to see the rivals, and then also a chance to move into first place. I'd love to go to San Francisco in first place.
Another foul ball to the 2-2 again. Yeah, and we talked about it a little bit off of the top, but you lose the opener. Rockies already feeling confident coming into this series. It was as if they were on the verge of really believing they were the team to beat. Dodgers even the series last night, kind of put everybody on even ground. Trying to knock the Rockies down a notch as far as their confidence level if they can jump ahead in the series tonight. Barnes takes it high, runs it full. No matter how this AB finishes, it's been a good one for Barnes. Anderson a deep breath. And a ninth pitch to Austin Barnes. A pop up. Hannigan gives it a look, but there will be a 10th offering. Prompt on the video board is 2-strike noise, so that's what you hear.
Sounds like everybody 14 and under.
Another payoff, and Barnes strikes out on a fastball. Anderson wins a long battle and is now retired 8 in a row. Alex Wood has struck out 7 of the 13 batters that he's faced tonight and gets strike 1 on Carlos Gonzalez. So the year-by-year strikeout percentage, just to give you a little perspective, the league average is about 21%. So he's always been a guy that's been above average. It's 1-1 on Gonzalez, but never like he is right now, above 30% on the year in strikeout percentage.
And he's doing it by attacking. He has had no 6-pitch count. So he's getting ahead, and then he's putting them away. He's only had 2 2-2 counts, no 3-2 counts. It's remarkable to strike out that many guys, have your pitch count in order. Before this inning, he had thrown only 45 pitches, 33 strikes.
A 31% strikeout percentage coming into the game. That puts him in the top 5 in baseball. Gonzalez fouls it off, still 1-2. Chris Sale, who had another huge strikeout day today, he's number 1 in 37%. Then there's a 4% drop down to the National League leader. Jacob deGrom strikes out a third of the batters that he faces. Same with Max Scherzer and Robbie Ray. Then it's Wood.
Facing a very hot hitter right now, and Carlos Gonzalez. He's 5 for 9. Last 9 at bats. Starting to come out of his slump. I guess he's officially out of his slump, I guess, if he's 5 for 9.
Yeah, but he was 2 for 24, to your point.
So we got to wait for 24 at bats.
Yeah, to even it out. Smacked off of the mound. Seager's waiting it short. Gonzalez the first out of the 4th.
Shortstop, number 4, Valleca.
And now it's Valleca. Former UCLA Bruin, a baseball family. His older brother spent some time in the majors. Pat made his debut last year in September, and now here he is as the everyday shortstop with Story down. And again, Wood gets strike 1. Most important pitch in baseball, right? Strike 1.
I think it is. The next most important pitch is the 1-1 pitch. So pretty much any time the count is even, you've got an important pitch coming.
So here it is. The 1-1. Grounded to third, diving Turner from his knees. It's dug out by Bellinger. Turner with a diving stop and some help from Bellinger on the back end for out number 2.
Here comes your Carl's Cam replay, and this one really deserves it. Dug out on both ends right here. This dive, and then from the knees, Justin Turner, enough throw to get it over there for the sweet scooping Cody Bellinger. He's diving all over the field multiple times.
Alex Wood appreciates it. Tough one to dig out for Bellinger, but here and now he may prefer that one over a high throw. You see the sun glistening. A strike on Parra. Yeah, I'd say he'd prefer it in the dirt right now.
And don't put it by Justin Turner that he didn't plan it that way with Cody. They come out to do their couple ground balls each where the first baseman throws it over. I'm sure there were signals given about this inning.
Buckles his knees with a breaking pitch, and it's 0-2.
Alex Wood is starting to lose it. He hasn't struck anybody out this inning.
After he K'd 7 through 3. Trying to get Parra. Ball 1. Alex Wood 3-0 for the first time in his career. And here at Coors Field, 3 2/3 shutout innings, pitching with a 2-0 lead. Softly tapped back to him, an easy play, and a 1-2-3 inning. By the way, apparently Alex missed the memo about keeping it low for Cody.
Is brought to you by your Southern California Toyota dealers. Toyota time is going on now. Get incredible deals on a fuel-efficient RAV4 hybrid.
On this date in 1956, the guy in the middle there, Sal Magley, was acquired by the Dodgers from the Indians for a whopping $100. Longtime New York Giant, longtime Dodger tormentor when he was in a Giant uniform. Spent 2 years in Brooklyn. Tossed a no-hitter that year that the Dodgers got him. Brett Eibner starts his 5th inning against Tyler Anderson. And takes ball 1. They called him the Barber. Sal the Barber, for the close shaves that he'd give batters on pitches up and in. Really intimidating presence. Was big. He always had a 5 o'clock shadow. So off the mound, though, good nature. That wasn't really who he was as a person. It drifts away, and Eibner's ahead of Anderson 2-0. Magley was actually a better basketball player than he was baseball player growing up. And actually had a scholarship offer to play at Niagara, which was his hometown. First love, though, was always baseball. 2-1. So he turned down that basketball scholarship for a chemical plant job in his hometown of Niagara and pitched for the company team, pitched for some local semi-pro teams. Still was never on any true professional radars as a pitcher. Iner hammers the ball to center field. Parra's back on it, out of room, and there it goes. A monster home run for Brett Iner makes it 3-0.
Back in spring training, he hit over 300, on base over 400, a couple of home runs there, and this was the kind of power he displayed in BP and a few times in the game. Dave Roberts today saying that he's in the lineup because I want to give him a look. He's been up here a few times, not many at bats, any opportunities. Got a chance to get him in there. Let's see what he's got.
So his first home run in a Dodger uniform after he hit 6 as a rookie, split between the Royals and the A's last year. Nothing in 2 on Wood. We check in with Alana.
I asked Dave Roberts earlier today how he manages splitting time with the 3 right-handed hitters that typically come off the bench. Brett Iner, Scott Van Slyke, of course, and Franklin Gutierrez. And he said, you know what, Franklin Gutierrez is on the roster because he's supposed to be a lefty killer. And as Oral just mentioned, he wanted to see a little bit more about what Brett Iner has. They don't have a huge book on this guy as he hasn't been up here at this level for very long. And he also said Scott Van Slyke is going to likely get into the game, but I like him off the bench. And obviously Brett and Scott are here because of injury, and Goody was signed in the offseason to face lefties.
Alex Wood down on strikes, 1 away in the 5th. So Iner with a monster home run here to lead off the 5th inning for the Dodgers in a 3-0 lead. Back to the top of the order, and Chris Taylor. Strike 1. I want to make sure I don't leave you hanging on Sal Magley's background, how he got to the Dodgers and how he got to Major League Baseball even to begin with, because here he is in his early 20s just playing semi-pro ball. Giants finally found him, let him play minor league baseball in the early 1940s. That's a ball, and it's 1-1. And then there was the player shortage because of World War II. Magley didn't go to World War II because he failed his physical, had a bad sinus condition. So he was deemed to not be ready to go to war, stayed at home, continued pitching in the minor league system, and then got a taste in the majors with the Giants when he was 28 for the first time. But it'd be another 5 years before he'd pitch in a big league game again. Ball 2. So what happened in the mid-1940s was there was this group in Mexico that started to offer a bunch of the big league players these huge contracts to jump to the Mexican League. And Magley was one of the guys that took that offer. Now the commissioner, Happy Chandler, he said, you know what? Heck with you. You're banned for 5 years if you're taking that big Mexican League offer. Taylor with a half-hearted cut and a miss, and it's 2-2. So for 5 years, Magley played in Mexico. He played some in Cuba. That's where he learned his kind of headhunting style from some of the guys there. And then even did a barnstorming tour back in the U.S. with other guys that had been banned from the majors for jumping to Mexico. Taylor down, swinging 2 away in the 5th. So 5 years from going Mexico, Cuba, barnstorming against semi-pro teams until that ban was lifted. And Magley, for the first time, became a full-time big leaguer when he was 33.
Wow, because you started the story, he was 20.
Right.
And then not eligible for the war because of the sinus infection. And then all of that time that he could have been a big leaguer if he wouldn't have taken the money.
Yeah, they called those guys jumpers that took the money in Mexico. Here's Corey Seager. Taking ball 1. It's amazing, though, to debut at 33 and have such a distinct reputation in a short period of time. You know, you think of Sal Maglie and immediately you think about the barber. 1-1. And he did it in less than a decade being a full-time big leaguer.
And 33 was old for a pitcher back then. I mean, we see guys now extend into their 40s at times, you know, but when I broke in 1983, if you were 35, you were considered old. And you were pretty much on your way out at age 35. With all the things they get to do to take care of their bodies and all the nutritional things, people are pushing it past the year of 40.
Fly ball to left. He and Desmond with room. And that's the inning. But Brett Eibner starts the inning with his first home run as a Dodger, measured at a whopping 466 feet. Halfway home in Denver on a 3-0 Dodger lead.
Yeah.
Let's get some ribs up here. Ryan Hannigan leading off the fifth, taking a ball.
With an early start here, if the game continues at this pace, we got a chance for a late dinner.
Hadn't thought about that. I don't think you even had a pregame dinner, did you?
Nope. I'm on one meal for the whole day so far.
Good job. 1-1 on Hannigan. I don't know why I said good job for that. Eat, man.
I'm hungry right now.
Bottom part of the Rockies order. Anderson and LeMahieu to follow Hannigan, whose favorite meal is a filet and French fries. It's his favorite thing to cook. Now that we're on the topic of food, 2-1. Don't ask me why I know that. Two balls and two strikes. The veteran Hannigan in his first year with the Rockies. Most of his career spent with the Reds, but he's bounced around the last few campaigns. And he's worked it full against Wood here in the fifth.
First full count against Alex Wood. Still doesn't have a 2-1 count tonight. So that means every time he's gone 1-1, he's thrown a strike. So we talk about those even counts being really important. This is the first time he's had an even count where he threw a ball.
Hannigan pokes it to first. Bellinger there with a backhand for the first out of the inning. Great Dodger moments. Coin collection presented by 76 continues with a Clayton Kershaw no-hitter coin giveaway in the next home game. Next Thursday, 7:10. Marlins are in town, and the first 40,000 in attendance Get to take home the third coin in the collection. No hitter came against these Rockies for Clayton. Considered one of the greatest games ever pitched. Alex Wood pumps in a strike to Anderson. Of course, would have been a perfect game if not for Hanley Ramirez's throwing error. Quickly 0-2. It's the only time in baseball history that somebody had thrown 15 strikeouts while allowing 0 hits and 0 walks. It's been duplicated once since by Max Scherzer. Strike 3 in quick order. That is strikeout number 8 for Alex Wood.
Back in the third, he gave up a hit and then struck out the side. No strikeouts in the fourth, and here finally gets another one, but he is up to 8. So finally, oh my gosh, it took him 4 batters to get one.
It's a drought.
It is.
LeMahieu 1 for 2, one of the 4 singles against Wood. So he's given up 4 hits, but all 4 of them have been very softly hit. In fact, none of them with an exit velocity above 90. That's ball 1.
And I will repeat that a hard hit ball is 95 and above. I think we continue to remind the audience that as we get into these new things as far as launch angle and exit velocity.
1-1. And I know you and I are both always very conscious of not wanting to heap too much of that on people, but also think it's important because it is now part of the game. It's something that the people running this game are using. It's a base hit to the opposite field for LeMahieu to keep this 5th inning alive.
And don't the people want to know what the players are talking about? Because they're talking about it now too. They're talking about developing swings with different launch angles, where Justin Turner talks about keeping the ball in the air, getting the ball in the air, about how to hit the ball hard. How about developing their swing pass so that they can hit the ball harder? Turner Ward is learning a whole new language with this generation of players.
There has been a direct relationship with the amount of that data available and the amount of guys trying to pull the ball in the air. Ball 1 on Ian Desmond. Seeing this year that Ryan Zimmerman is having in Washington. You know, last year he hit like 200 with 12 home runs, and right now he's leading in all 3 Triple Crown categories, hitting around 400, 15 home runs or so. And he has said he's made a conscious effort to pull the ball in the air. More and more guys doing that. StatCast data is showing that it's helpful to do so. 2-0 on Ian Desmond. Desmond 1 for 2 in this one, with a base hit in the first and a strikeout in the third. Two and 1.
Here go the fans because they're prompting them.
Fly down the right field line, but it peels foul, and it's 2-2. Wood had fallen behind for one of the first times today, but he's battled back to even it.
You have an awful lot of confidence when you're throwing as many strikes as he is. You really feel like the range is so tight that you can get the ball near the corner or just off the plate.
Well, Mayhew kept the inning going with a base hit. He's at first. And Wood downhill 2-2 to strike out Desmond. His 9th over 5 shutout innings. In a hitter's paradise, he leads 3-0.
Dodgers. Jock Peterson pays a visit to the Los Angeles Rams facility. Plus, Agon and Dave Roberts bring baseball to Dubai with an off-season kids clinic. Don't miss Backstage Dodgers, presented by Hankook Tires, Thursday at 5:30 on Sportsnet LA.
Here's Justin Turner to lead off the 6th inning for the Dodgers. Ball 1 from Tyler Anderson. Started to talk about these two having a prior relationship. This is a small one to facing off his big leaguers. Turner was a guest speaker for the Oregon Duck team that Tyler Anderson was a freshman on. Fastball evens the count at 1-1. Both of these guys had George Horton as head coaches. Jock Peterson loosens up. George Horton was Justin's coach at Cal State Fullerton, and then he restarted the Oregon program, which had been dark for a few decades. And Oregon State got going. They went to a couple College World Series, and the Nike money sitting around at Oregon said, we can't have the in-state rival dominating the sport. We don't even have a team in. So they hired Horton to restart the program. Anderson was a freshman there. Turner went up there and talked to the new group about creating a winning culture. He apparently didn't share how to get himself out, because Anderson has not. 8 for 14 against Anderson in his career. 2-2.
You do have to block out a lot of things when all of a sudden, as a young pitcher, you start to face some guys that you're a hero. I remember trying to face Mike Schmidt, Pete Rose, Gary Carter. Just different guys that are definitely a different generation, and you come up and you've got to really just block it out. But these are the guys you used to watch on TV.
Bounce to third. Arenado's been busy today. 1 out.
And root for. Watch him on TV and root for him.
Right.
And now you're supposed to get him out. So it's one of the hurdles.
What was your first oh my gosh moment in that regard?
Well, the first batter I faced was Gary Carter.
Guess that would be a big one.
Yeah, that, and getting Mike Schmidt out, because I went to high school in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Used to go to Philadelphia Phillies games all the time. You know, Lazinski and Boa and Mike Schmidt and all those guys, and Steve Carlton.
Gutierrez looks at a strike.
Being a national leaguer, I didn't really face any of the Detroit Tigers, which was another team that I was growing up was a big fan of.
Coming inside on 0-1, and Gutierrez taking it for strike 2.
Facing Pete Rose was kind of surreal.
I bet.
Johnny Bench was the last Dodger to get Johnny Bench out before he retired. He was just in a pinch hitting role when I came up early days.
That's the next coin giveaway.
Bases loaded, 2 out. I was brought in extra innings, and Johnny Bench popped up, and the pop-up was right over the mound. And I've got guys like Steve Sachs and Pedro Guerrero trying to catch it, which they're not really known for their glove work. It was an interesting time, because I'm like, if they don't catch this, it's a loss. 3-2, 2 out, everybody running, pop up in the middle of the field, extra innings, Dodgers up by 1. Fortunately, it was caught.
Which one of them got it?
I think Pedro caught it.
Anderson's 1-2. Gutierrez bangs a base hit to right center, and that one gets by Gonzalez. Franklin's on his way to second with a double.
With the pain that Franklin has to deal with on a daily basis, for this not to be a good or a bad day, this is a really good swing to drive this there. But as I watched him round first and get into second base, I'll tell you what, I feel for him, because you can just feel that there is a little bit of pain there with the length of those strides. And he doesn't want to stop when he gets to second base by pulling up on his feet. He wanted to slide.
And Jock Peterson will pinch run for him. And we've talked about the condition that Franklin deals with, that just makes everything a lot more painful for him than for the average person. He's saying to Dave, come on.
They're up, and they're going for a defensive replacement, and Jock might be on the DL tomorrow.
But Black coming out. Franklin deals with a rare form of arthritis in his spine that leads to a lot of other issues. Hampered flexibility and mobility, has to stretch a lot more to get loose. And he said, oh yeah, it's compounded by being in the altitude here. I mean, it's hard on anybody, let alone somebody who deals with arthritis of the spine.
Everybody on the medical staff says they work extra hard when they're here in Colorado because guys have aches and pains in places they've never had throughout the whole year. Cody Bellinger at 21 years old saying my calves are killing me. This Coors Field effect is definitely real.
That purple row up there is the Mile High line. Kike Hernandez cuts and misses at an off-speed pitch for strike one. And Gutierrez missed an entire year learning how to deal with that disease that was not properly diagnosed until a few years after he started to feel it. Almost ended his career, but instead Franklin completely reinvented himself as a power hitter against left-handed pitching. Kike 1 for 2 today, and a double into the corner his first time, then lined out to third. Batting with Peterson at second and one gone. Anderson and Hannigan having a bit of a problem getting on the same page, so Kike steps out. This will be the 95th pitch for the former Oregon Duck. Out in front, 0-2. Dodgers have now scored 10 runs against Anderson in 15 innings this year. Two change-ups, two swings and misses on 0-2. Checks Peterson back.
Fourth at bat for the Dodgers with a runner in scoring position. They're 1 for 3, but also have 2 RBIs, but the other one was brought in by a sac by, remember, Alex Wood dropping down the bunt.
Got him swinging. They sped him up that time at 87. And Anderson has his 8th punch out of the day.
Wants a cutter in, and that's exactly what they get. Didn't get quite in there, but Kike swung through it. Cody Bellinger up there has had a little frustration his first 2 at bats, a couple of strikeouts. Hit the home run the other day, had a couple strikeouts and a walk, and all of a sudden lit the place up with a dinger.
3 for 10 in the series. All 7 outs that he's made have been strikeouts. 1-0. You seen any consistency within those strikeouts where the Rockies have gone?
Not really. Sometimes he's been frustrated by an umpire call. Sometimes he's swung at a pitch that just beat him. Hasn't really chased in any big way. Not swinging at balls way out of the strike zone. They're hittable pitches, just missing them. Kirk Gibson used to say, you know, you might make me look bad a few of my at-bats, but when I get you, it's going to hurt. And that's kind of the way Cody has approached baseball right now. He doesn't really back off. He's got tremendous power, great bat speed, and he hasn't backed off. You don't see him all of a sudden go into a shell or slow down or shorten up just because he struck out in his last at-bat on a big swing. He keeps coming at you.
On the 1-0, swings at one that's low, 1-1.
We have seen him shorten up a little bit with runners in scoring position. The bases loaded, the ball he hit down the line at home. That was a really great at bat where he slashed it down. Man on third, less than 2 outs. We've seen him shorten up a little bit, but pretty much he's got the one swing that is pretty much full bore.
Nice pitch, 1-2. So in a 3-0 game here in the 6th. Runner at second with 2 gone and a 1-2 count on Cody Bellinger. Anderson's 100th pitch of the night. Just misses away, and it evens it 2-2. He wanted that one.
That shows you a great eye and great maturity. A frustrating night so far for Cody. A couple of strikeouts. The last pitch, he kind of goes, oh my gosh, really, that a strike? And then that one away. And really let the umpire change his mind on how much he had to protect.
Peterson pinch running for Gutierrez, who doubled with 1 out. Anderson to Bellinger, 2-2, and it's in the dirt to run it full. His pitches per plate appearance continues to rank among the best in baseball. We see him work a lot of full counts.
That shot of Dave Roberts, the reason they had the pinch runner at second base is because he had already made a decision. He was going to defensive replacement with Jock Peterson. So why not take his wheels at second after the Gutierrez double?
That'll likely move Kike over to left. Here's a 3-2, and Bellinger takes ball 4 after falling behind in the count 1-2.
He struck out twice and walked once, and he's had 2 full counts. So that relates to your point about most pitches seen.
Second walk issued by Tyler Anderson will end his night, but Black's second visit of the inning. And the Dodgers, with runners at first and second and 2 gone, will send Austin Barnes to the plate with a chance to add on here in the 6th against the Rockies pen. Second, his responsibility. Who's in, who's out, brought to you by In and Out. It's Scott Oberg on for his second appearance of the series, trying to maintain that line for Tyler Anderson.
Third of an inning in this series, 17 pitches, so he wasn't real efficient. Going to come at you with the hard fastball. 95 miles an hour, it's average.
Dodgers got to him for 3 runs. Or 2 runs on 3 hits as part of that comeback in the series opener that fell a little bit short. It's Barnes to bat with men at first and second. Another good night for Austin with an RBI double his first time up. Ready for Eibner's, or ready for Oberg's first pitch. It's a cued foul.
Barnes with the Dodger hit with runners in scoring position. RBI double.
One and one. Barnes now with a double in 4 consecutive games. Extra base hit once every 5 ABs this year. Two on with 2 out. And a 1-1 from Oberg that Barnes takes for strike 2. Worked the 10-pitch AB his last time up, trying to keep this thing moving. Ready for a 1-2. And takes it. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Peterson still at second. Gutierrez doubled with 1 out. Jock pinch running for him. Still 2-2. After Barnes, it'll be Eibner with the longest home run of the year for the Dodgers his last time up. Oberg home with another 2-2 pitch. And Barnes takes it in the dirt. It gets by and allows the runners to advance. Peterson holds on at third. Bellinger up to second. And a good opportunity for the Dodgers and Austin Barnes right here.
Breaking ball down there, and spin just takes it away, and it's lost for a little bit. Not long enough to get home.
First base now open, so it's up to Oberg who he wants, Barnes or Eibner. The 3-2. And he pushes it foul, just getting his hands in on a 97-mile-per-hour fastball.
He can get close to 100, and then he throws that slider sometimes about 92. Some serious arm speed.
How about Barnes seeing 18 pitches over the last 2 ABs?
Doing a nice job battling and not swinging at balls, and when he throws in a strike zone, can't catch up, but he's been fouling off a lot of pitches.
Outside, he's walked. And the bases are loaded up for Eibner.
It's time for our Arco top tier play of the game, brought to you by Arco, and it's this 465-foot blast to center field by Brett Eibner. First home run as a Dodger in the pink Los Angeles uniform.
Yeah, on Mother's Day weekend. Peterson at third, Bellinger at second, and Barnes at first. Eibner trying to break it open. Offers strike 1.
It's About as close as we'll get. Borderline check swing.
Slider again, and it's 0-2.
Oberg has got a really hard slider. He's got it for Southern California baseball fans. He's got a little bit of Troy Percival in him.
Took this one, ball one.
This at bat could really break this game open. I know we're in Coors Field and a lot of leads are not safe, but bases loaded, 2 out. Guy up there has already gone deep. Hit one in the gap and watch him run.
They leave the bases loaded as Iner strikes out. On to the bottom of the 6th. It remains 3-0.
To you by Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop ChooseNissan.com. And by Carl's Jr., the baby back rib burger, only at Carl's Jr.
Kike Hernandez slides over to left field as Jock Peterson comes in. He had pinch run for Franklin Gutierrez last inning, stays in defensively. So Alex Wood back to work against Arenado. 3, 4, and 5 in the order with Reynolds and Gonzalez to follow. 75 pitches deep for Wood. 9 strikeouts. And he starts Arenado with strike 1.
17 pitches his last inning. That was the toughest the Rockies have made him work. That pitch count is very much in control.
He's fanned Arenado twice. Just misses here, and it's 1-1. So now 20 Ks for Alex Wood over his last 10 innings. One and two. And from the start tonight, credit to Wood, but Arenado just simply not seeing the ball out of his hand.
The herky-jerky motion, and Arenado, who normally picks up everybody well and swings in a big way, is in between.
Tries to lay off here and does. Count evens up 2-2.
It's about as in between as you can get for Arenado. Get him check swinging at balls in the dirt, and that ball was never a strike. He's having a tough time visualizing.
Leading off the 6th inning and waiting on a 2-2 pitch from Wood. Going off speed. And just missing in. Full count.
This is a really nice pitch. Piscast has got it as a ball, but just barely.
Wood yet to walk a batter. Until now.
Pitch count of 94 is a high for Alex Wood this year. If you ask him, he probably thinks he can go about 110 or so at least. But they'll be watching him very closely, especially here at Mile High. Fatigue can hit you in a hurry.
And he leads off the next inning in the Dodger batter order. Here's Reynolds. Strike one. A lot of times tonight, Rockies hitters have made the fastball in the low 90s look like much more.
I think if Reynolds reaches, you're going to see a visit from Rick Honeycutt and a righty get up in the bullpen. Now Alex will get to face Carlos Gonzalez, but then it'll be Dave Roberts' decision after that to see if he wants him to continue. A couple lefties coming with Parra and Gonzalez. Pitch count at 83. You don't want to let 3-0 slip away.
That's in there. It's 1-2. And Charlie Blackmon is available off of Bud Black's bench tonight. Short bench, only 4 position players. The 1-2. 2-2.
I know he walked the last hitter, and I know this counts 2-2, but he is still really close to exactly where he wants to throw the ball. He is not scattering the pitches all over.
Here he comes. And Reynolds barely gets a piece to stay alive. Within 8 pitches now, Wood is of his season high for pitches thrown in an outing. Leadoff man aboard here in the 6th. Another 2-2. His 10th strikeout of the game.
Alex Wood is reaching down deep right now. The pitch count getting extended. A 3-0 lead that he would love to bring it home for a W. Man on first, and in the middle of the order, a guy who's hit the ball really well in Reynolds, but puts him away.
7 of those 10 strikeouts for Alex have come from the top 4 in the order. So he's getting the job done against the very best the Rockies have to offer. 1 on, 1 out. And here's Gonzalez, who is 1 for 2. One of those 5 singles for Colorado. Hard hit and caught by Bellinger to end the inning. A double play on a bullet off of the bat of Gonzalez. What are you going to do?
Carlos Gonzalez deked him on his home run. Cody Bellinger, turnabout's fair play. I don't have time to deke you, but I can double him up.
there to pinch hit with a right-handed reliever on the mound, and before Oberg even throws the pitch to him, Bud Black counters by bringing on left-hander Mike Dunn. Why don't we take another commercial break? Back in a moment. A 3-game series with the defending champ Cubs in a rematch of last year's NLCS. It is the Cubs' only trip to Dodger Stadium this year. Not going to want to miss it. 26th to the 28th. Go to Dodgers.com/tickets right now to get yours for what should be a fantastic set between those two teams to wrap up a 10-game homestand. And Mike Dunn comes on with Dave Roberts calling on the left-handed batting Chase Utley.
Mike Dunn's first appearance in this series. And a little different for Chase, facing the lefty. He's going to see 50% fastballs and about 50% sliders.
Chase Utley, the hottest Dodger hitter right now. 7 of his last 10. Takes ball 1. Had his first multi-hit game of the season 2 games ago. Followed that with a 3-hit game last night. Waits on this 1-0. Takes a high strike, 1-1. Josh Fields getting loose. That's up, 2-1.
Chase barely flinches. Ball up there over 90 miles an hour by your head, and he just kind of bobs it out of the way very casually.
There's that game last year in New York where Noah Syndergaard threw the fastball behind him at 100 miles per hour. And this is exactly what he looked like right now. Slid the dirt around in the box, took a practice swing, stepped back in, and hit 2 home runs that night. Dunn brings him a 2-2, and it's full. Alana.
You guys were just talking about the fact that he barely flinched, doesn't show any emotion ever on the baseball field. Basically takes an act of Congress to get him to show any emotion publicly. Yasmani Grandal yesterday was telling me that players like Chase Utley that don't show any emotion are the worst players in terms of facing. He can't stand guys that do that as far as catching pitchers when they're facing these guys, because he just doesn't know what to do because they don't react to anything.
Down swinging here, 1 out in the 7th. Dunn, one of the pieces acquired for this Rockies bullpen. That has been one of the biggest reasons for their turnaround this year. They were the worst bullpen in baseball each of the last 3 years. And they're not the best now, but they're middle of the pack at least, and really good in the back end when you consider Dunn. And then the closer Holland, who's executed each of his first 15 save opportunities. Back to the top of the order, Chris Taylor taking a ball.
Colorado has a lot of confidence that their offense is going to come around. So if you think you're going to have a really good offense and a really good bullpen, you got a really good chance to win a lot of games, because most of the games are decided from the 6th inning on. If you can get your young starters to just get you through 5 and give you a chance to win. Some nights you're already going to be way ahead because of your offense. Other nights you're going to have confidence the offense can come back and the bullpen can shut them down. The way baseball is played now and rosters are constructed, that's a pretty good equation.
Dunn with a 2-0. Taylor with a swing and a floater to right that'll drop in for his first hit of the night.
He was 1 for 8 in the series coming into the night, 0 for 3 coming into that bat, so 1 for his last 11.
Dodgers up 3-0, getting 2 in the 2nd and 1 in the 5th, and an Eibner solo homer. Top of the order trying to add on here. Corey Seager with a man at first and 1 gone. Ball 1. Corey's boyhood idol honored tonight. Derek Jeter getting his number retired in New York. Plaque going up in Monument Park. The Yankees now have retired every single digit number. 22 numbers in all they've retired. Not going to have anything left to wear.
Well, they can go to 1A, 2A, 3A.
Dunn delivers 1-0. Seager fouls it 1-1. So there are actually 3 other guys from Jeter's era that have already had their numbers retired. Can you name them? From those championship teams in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Posada. Pettit. And one more.
Yeah. This would have been the one I would think would be your first guess. Mariano Rivera.
Yeah. And they don't necessarily need to be Hall of Famers to retire numbers there, huh?
Correct.
Well, then we should retire Fernando's. I probably just got in trouble.
Two on 1. The Yankees are selling 17 different versions of Derek Jeter's jersey tonight with the commemorative patch on it. Trying to make a buck off it.
I saw a very cool commercial on MLB.com where they're retiring Derek Jeter's number all across New York. It's a Budweiser commercial.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. Kind of choked me up a little bit. It was really the way he conducted his career and everything that he did in that city is absolutely amazing.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Corey. Both of Corey's parents are from upstate New York. His dad, Jeff, played at Fairleigh Dickinson and actually homered at the old Yankee Stadium in a game. Outside corner for strike 3. Seager didn't like it. He's the 2nd out of the 7th.
Right there.
And it's actually tomorrow that Jeter's getting that number retired. Rained out today, doubleheader tomorrow. And the liner in between games. Runner at first, 2 gone, and Justin Turner. Corey one time had a chance to meet Jeter in Minneapolis at the All-Star game when his brother Kyle was in the All-Star game. Jeter's last trip to the Midsummer Classic, but got too nervous and didn't approach him. So Derek could be honored to meet him now. Ball 1. Two balls and no strikes on Turner, who's 1 for 3 tonight. He singled back in the first inning. Fly to center, and he's grounded out. Dodgers out, hitting the Rockies 6-5. Got 2 runs in the second. They got 1 run in the 5th.
Wouldn't be a bad place for Justin Turner's 2nd home run of the year. 2-out man on first. Already up 3-0. Kind of let loose on a 2-0 pitch right here.
Here it comes. And he tried to, fouled it off, 2-1. Dunn has allowed 1 home run this year. And his 9 innings of work. Never been a guy that's given up too many. Former Marlins signed a 3-year, $18 million deal. Right away he said that he has no problem pitching at Coors Field. Always had good numbers here on the road with Miami. Left-hander against right-hander, a 2-1 pitch. Line down to right field line, it's fair, into the corner. Chris Taylor on his horse, gets the way from Woodward. He will score on a double from Turner, and it's 4-0.
Yeah, the 4th run by the Dodgers comes together from 2 guys that didn't do very well this series. Justin Turner's 1 for 7 in the series at this point, gets his 2nd hit. And Chris Taylor only had 1 hit before his base hit, and he gets the scamper 270 feet.
Bud Black came out halfway to home plate there to talk with Bill Miller, then went back. Turner with an RBI double and his first extra base hit here in the month of May. After he had 11 doubles in April to lead baseball. First debut for Jock tonight. Ball 1. Long pause and a 1-0, and it's in there, 1-1. Dodgers doubling the Rockies to death tonight. 4 of their 7 hits have been doubles.
They're starting to set up really well for one of the best bullpens in the National League. Couple of good bullpens going head to head now.
1-2. Series wraps up tomorrow. Julio Urias for the Dodgers. Antonio Senzatella for the Rockies. We get our first look at the rookie, who's 5-1 with a .286. It's an intriguing matchup between two of the best young starters in baseball right now. Turner at second with 2 gone.
Some good starting pitching from the Dodgers the last 2 nights. Clayton Kershaw, outstanding outing. Alex Wood now out of the game. 6 innings of shutout ball.
That one gets by Hannigan, but Turner stays close because the ball does as well, and it's 2-2 on Jock.
Good call by Justin Turner, already in scoring position with 2 outs. No sense taking a chance.
Rockies, by the way, have been shut out twice this year. Once in this ballpark by San Diego, believe it or not. Zach Lee, the old Dodger.
He got the win. Not a complete game shutout.
Give me a second and I'll tell you. Never mind, internet's down.
I think if it was a complete game shutout, we would have read a headline on it somewhere.
Now a 2-2 from Dunn to Peterson. Lifted in the air to left center. That ball's carrying pretty well. Desmond back on the track with room right at the front of the track. But the Dodgers add one and a double from Justin Turner. Stretch time in a 4-0 game. Summary brought to you by Morongo Casino. How about Alex Wood? 6 shutout innings, and for the first time in his career, he's fanned 10 in back-to-back outings after he struck out 11 against the Pirates earlier this week. And Brett Eibner's first home run as a Dodger was the longest this season by a Dodger, going 466 feet.
Starter's done his job. The offense has done its job. Now it's time for the bullpen, and Josh Fields, who has pitched in this series already and done well. This Dodger bullpen has thrown 5 innings here in Colorado, given up 4 hits, no runs, a walk, and 8 strikeouts.
And Alex Wood, who allowed 20 runs in 16 innings in this ballpark in his career, fires 6 shutout frames. Pat Valaika to lead off against Fields. 6, 7, and 8 for the Rockies. Josh starts him with a ball.
Alex Wood, before tonight, of starters that have pitched at least 4 starts in Coors Field, had the 2nd worst ERA of anybody in baseball, 11.5. Turned that around.
Yeah. Valaika late on a fastball to 95, 1-1. Josh Fields has looked really good lately and has gone from being somebody who was shuttled back and forth to pitching in some pretty big spots for this team. It's not to say that he won't be shuttled back and forth more with the minor league options. It's part of the business. 2-1.
One of the benefits of pitching a long time at the big leagues, after a few years you get rid of all those options, but Dodgers have accumulated a lot of great big league arms, and sometimes because you still have the minor league option, you get sent down. Nothing to do with ability, that's for sure, just with the fact of flexibility. Rubbing the ball up, rubbing his fingers together. Looks like he's having a little trouble gripping it, that it's slipping out here. Something that pitchers will complain about a little bit at Mile High.
3-2. Why is that?
Fingers dry out a little bit. Not always much humidity here. On the dry days, that's when it really flies. The ball flies, and that also makes it harder to grip it. There are some gray areas on ways that you can figure out a way to grip a ball.
Gray areas, huh?
Yeah, gray. Very gray. But, you know, for me, you're not allowed to use a foreign substance, so, but I've always thought that pine tar, I could find some American-made pine tar. It's not a foreign substance.
Well done.
If you just happen to rub it into your skin 2 to 3 hours before the game, and it's kind of in your pores a little bit, you can bring it out of your pores with just a little bit of sweat off your neck.
Fouled off, still a full count on Valaika. Were you a hair gel wearer?
Hair gel, cup of water over my head to have the hair gel drip down onto my neck. Batted a lot of times without batting gloves, even though there was pine tar on my bat. Gum. Chew gum. I didn't like chewing sugar gum though, because it gives you a little energy lull, but sugar gum is very sticky as far as your saliva.
Valaika flies one to right. Brett Eibner cruises under it. And there is one out in the 7th. They're sharing all of the world's secrets to us.
Oh, that was just the tip of the iceberg.
Oh my goodness. Tell us more.
No more. And I will tell you that hitters are glad that pitchers are able to hold the ball.
Yeah.
There is no problem. They don't want it to be slippery in your hand.
And there's actually been discussion from hitters. Hey, put some pine tar out there on the mound. They're all using it. We would prefer that the ball doesn't slip out of their hand.
Well, they're even trying to test now how to have the balls even rubbed up differently or have them produced differently to make them slightly tacky, so that people don't have to go through all the gyrations to figure out how to get a grip and not break the rules.
Now they did one on Gerardo Parra with the Dodgers in front of the Rockies 4-0 here in the 7th. Baez has joined Avilan. Fields to Parra with an 0-1, and he's ahead of him 0-2. Gerardo knows something about pitching. He was initially signed as a pitcher by the Diamondbacks out of Venezuela. Had a low 90s fastball as a teenager. and used that arm to win a couple of Gold Gloves, leading the league in outfield assists multiple times. Protects here, still 0-2. Traded twice in a one-year stretch. He went from Arizona to Milwaukee at the deadline in 2014. And then he went from Milwaukee to Baltimore exactly 1 year later. Signed with the Rockies in the offseason prior to last year. Ball just got away from somewhere. Upper deck. So when I say get away, got away, it was thrown from the upper deck. It's not safe.
Sure not. They shouldn't allow people to play catch up there.
Still 0-2 on Parra. Parra debuted when he was 22 years old. Hit a home run in his very first at bat. Came against Johnny Cueto. 100th time that had happened in big league history. Guy homering in his first trip up there. Fields misses here. Ball 1. Different looking Gerardo Parra this year. Part of the issue last year for him in his bad first year with the Rockies was that he was out of shape. Reported this spring training 15 pounds lighter than he did last year. Waits on a 1-2. Fouls another. Talked about him losing his job to David Dahl when he was injured last year and then getting it back because Dahl was injured this spring. Well, he's lost it again because Ian Desmond is now healthy, but Mark Reynolds has been too good at first. So instead of Desmond taking Reynolds' spot like they initially planned, he's taken Parra's and left. Down swinging on a fastball at 97. 2 out.
Josh Fields, after a few command issues early on, the first batter falling behind 3-1, coming back with a couple outs, and that is some high cheese right there.
So it's Ryan Hannigan. Strike 1, late on a fastball at 96. Hannigan, a Boston native. Mom was a school teacher. Dad was an FBI agent in Boston. Oh, and 2. His favorite movie is The Departed, and it's because his dad kind of lived that life. A lot of the same gangsters depicted in The Departed were ones that his dad had to deal with during his career in the FBI. Fields trying to work a 1-2-3 7th inning with a 4-0 lead. His 0-2 is up. Ball 1. So much energy these days. Two and 2. Three consecutive fastballs that Hannigan takes up, and the count goes from 0-2 to full with the bases empty and 2 out. And Tapia on deck. got in on him. Turner at third. 1-2-3 go the Rockies against Fields in the 7th. And in a 4-0 game, we move along to the 8th inning. Brought to you by T-Mobile. Today, the Nationals and Bryce Harper agreed to a one-year deal, just an arbitration settlement, the largest one ever. This doesn't change the fact that he's part of that huge free agent class between 2018 and 19.
Figure that if the big year is going to continue, it would cost them more if they go all the way to arbitration next year. So let's get this deal done, give him some security, and give us some security to know how much we're going to pay him next year.
Adam Ottavino is on for the Rockies here in the 8th inning, with the Dodgers up 4-0. Getting 2 in the 2nd, 1 in the 5th, and 1 in the 7th. And he misses badly with the first one to Kike Hernandez. Over 43,000 in attendance tonight. Dodgers have made sure they've stayed quiet. It drifts in, and it's 2-0.
Fun to think about if the Dodgers finish this game off, and their bullpen is sure looking like they can do it. Tomorrow they're playing for first place.
With Urias going.
Get up in the morning, have a nice breakfast.
Why don't we?
Watch the Dodgers compete for first place. That'll be a fun day.
2-1. Ottavino came back from Tommy John surgery midway through last year, put up great numbers. And almost identical numbers this season.
You know, I see the O on Ottavino, and I think the Yankees haven't retired all the single-digit numbers.
I was actually wondering about that as I read that note.
1 through 9 are gone.
Right. Kike swings and misses at what would have been ball 4, full count. Zero has never been worn by a Yankee.
I don't think it's been worn by a Dodger.
Hernandez opens the 8th with a walk.
The O-Dog,
right.
Orlando Hudson, I don't think wore it.
Oh, actually,
somebody wore it.
Al Oliver, 1985.
Yeah, he was my teammate.
Uh-huh.
Can't read. Al wasn't with us very long.
Brian Wilson or 00. He was a Dodger.
Yeah.
Runner on for Bellinger.
Well, these three hitters, Kike Hernandez was 0 for 1 against Ottavino. Bellinger, of course, has never faced him. And on deck, Austin Barnes has never faced him.
First one, strike one. Dodgers 21-15, trying to move to 13-4 though in their last 17. Like Oral mentioned, trying to move to within a half game of first in the West. And 0-1. Wicked cut and a miss, and it's 0-2. Diamondbacks trail right now against Pittsburgh 4-2. Top of the 9th inning of that game. Diamondbacks only a half game behind the Dodgers entering the day. Mentioned it last night, but 3 of the top 4 win totals in the National League belong to National League West teams. Dodgers and D-backs both 21. Washington has 22. Colorado has 23. Grounded foul. Will do it again. Giants got a walk-off win last night in 17 innings on a home run from Buster Posey, and they beat the Reds today 3-1. So the Giants gaining a bit of steam. The Dodgers coming into town late tomorrow night for opening the 3-game series on Monday. Bellinger takes strike 3 down the middle. 1 out. Matt Moore today 7 1/3, gave up just 1 run. Brandon Belt had a splash hit out in McCovey Cove. 6th time he's done that in his career. And a former Dodger, Justin Ruggiano, the latest to try out left field for San Francisco. He hit his first home run. Austin Barnes now.
You don't want to sit on this 4-0 lead. You're in Coors Field. Anything can happen.
Cue shot foul. 0-2. Austin's been on twice. RBI double and a run scored in the 2nd, then walked in the 6th.
Ottavino can really change some speeds. He can go 96, 97. That slider right there was 83. Austin hitting it off the end of the bat like a cue shot.
Ball 1. On the Riverside kid, Austin Barnes. What a dream he's living, playing for the Dodgers, a team that he grew up watching. Grew up going to games at Dodger Stadium. Was drafted by the Marlins out of Arizona State. A lot of times when guys are traded, it's a shock to the system. I mean, certainly it was for him, but the very soft landing to it was that he had been traded to his team that he always dreamed of playing for. And now he has. Pitch out, 2-2.
Pretty amazing that they pitch out. The Dodgers don't run an awful lot at all.
No.
You got to be pretty sure somebody's going to pitch out.
Now a 2-2 from Ottavino. And Barnes rolls it to short. Valleca goes to second. Over to first for a double play. 6-4-3 to finish the inning. To the bottom of the 8th we go in a 4-0 game.
Dodgers brought to you by your Nissan dealers. John Hartung, Jerry Hairston Jr., Ned Coletti. Breakdown Alex Wood's tremendous performance. 6 innings, 10 strikeouts, back-to-back outings in which he's done that for the first time in his career. A great performance with some nice run support as well, gentlemen.
All right, Alana, the Dodgers with a chance here for their first shutout at Coors Field in 3 years. You have to go back to July of 2014. Clayton Kershaw went 8 innings. And the Dodgers beat the Rockies 9-0 here.
Clayton still working over that gum and working on new batting stances. We've seen him checking in with Chase Utley. He was rapping with Rich Hill a little bit ago. Moving and shaking in there in the bench. He's got his bat again.
Yeah. Pedro Baez comes on here for the 8th. Who's he bothering now? Kenta and Possum.
I don't think you can ever bother Kenta.
No, you're right.
He's always in a good mood.
Same can be said for Possum, the massage therapist. Alexi Amarista leads off this inning against Pedro Baez and takes ball 1. Amarista was signed out of the Dominican Republic in 2007. A year earlier, he had stopped playing baseball. That's away, and it's 2-0. He was sick of scouts telling him he was too small. 5'7", $150. He said, "I'm done with baseball. I'm going to play amateur softball instead." But from the workouts he had done, trying to get attention, the Angels called a few months later and offered him a pro deal. Debuted with the Angels in 2011. 4 seasons with the Padres and now in his first year with the Rockies. That's a strike.
Pedro Baez has the stuff to become an elite closer. Dodgers would love to see him become an elite 8th inning guy. The way he's throwing the ball so far this year, since coming off the DL, a really good chance.
Maurice to the left. Kike Hernandez is there for the first out of the 8th. RBI Baseball 2017 returns with fast-paced pick-up-and-play MLB action, packed with all your favorite MLB teams, players, ballparks, and much more. Get it today for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and mobile devices. You can learn more at RBIGame.com. So top of the order, with the Rockies down 4-0. DJ LeMahieu, the batter. 2 of the 5 hits today for Colorado. Looking for their first run of the night. Strike 1.
Dodgers working on shutting out the Rockies, but the Dodger bullpen working on their own shutout here in Coors Field. 6 1/3 innings now of shutout ball out of the pen.
Did it last night and the night before, gave them a chance to come from behind in that game, but they trailed 10-0. All those runs were charged to the starter, Hyun-Jin Ryu. So the bullpen deserved credit for the offense being able to make it interesting, bring the tying run to the plate in the opener. Would have been the biggest comeback in franchise history by 2 runs. Ball and a strike on LeMahieu. Here comes Baez. Base hit to center.
LeMahieu having a night. 3 for 4. Struck out in his first at bat, but then 3 singles now in the last 3 at bats.
So now Desmond, who is 1 for 3. Talked a little bit about Ian Desmond and the story with the contracts the last couple of years, how he had the qualifying offer attached to him. And so went an entire offseason unsigned despite being a really good player. Nobody wanted to offer him a contract and thereby have to forfeit a draft pick. That was before the 2016 season. So he sat at home in Sarasota just waiting for that call. Chases here, strike 1. In the meantime, he had a batting cage built in his backyard at home, and that was his way to escape frustrations. Put in a morning of work out there, and then get his daily call from his agent. Hey, still no updates, still no offers. And he'd get back to the cage and take out some more anger. 0-2. Finally, the Rangers called right before the start of spring training, and that extra work that he put in is a product of him being so angry. Led to an all-star campaign where he hit .285 and homered 22 times for Texas. And that led to the big deal that he signed with the Rockies. 5 years, $70 million. Big bouncer to the hole at second. Taylor has 1 play, 2 out.
Very basic play right there from Chris Taylor, but had a really big league edge to it because he charged the ball right at the very end. Took a big wide route to make sure he's going to get to it, but right at the very end, it takes a step in towards first base to square himself up and get the momentum going to Cody Bellinger. Really subtle, but it was a solid play. If he gives way any more on that, it's going to be a longer hop. It's going to be a harder throw. He's not going to have momentum going to first. Right at the end, rounded himself off.
Arenado hitless tonight. Hitless last night as well. Baez starts him with a strike. Nolan, one of 3 Arenado brothers that grew up in Southern California. His younger brother, a Giants minor leaguer. His name's Jonah. His older brother, Kuzi, was a big surfer, even had a contract at one point. So that technically, I guess, makes him a pro surfer. They play these epic games of wiffle ball at the Arenado house. So one of the guys that's involved in it is Nolan's high school friend, Trace Thompson. So they put all the pro baseball players on one team, Nolan and Jonah and Trace. They're all right-handed hitters. To even the playing field, they make those guys hit left-handed.
Okay. I like it.
Last New Year's Eve, they live streamed their wiffle ball game on Instagram. I wonder what the rights fees were on that. 1-1.
Have an accountant follow him.
Yeah. Cheap. Rockies not many chances in this game. Only the second time they've had a runner in scoring position. First time was in the first inning. And Desmond singled and then stole second. Baez pumps a 1-1. Arenado looks at strike 2. 97 blazing by the belt.
Now that is a very high quality, high fastball. Get it high enough where it's going to be really hard to hit and right at the top of the strike zone.
Fly ball, foul ground at first. Bellinger over to give it a look, but it's out of play. Pretty good day off today. Slump going on for him, and the starting pitcher for the Rockies, Tyler Anderson, good numbers against Puig historically. Pedro's ready for another 1-2. Here it is. Arenado reaches out and flips it foul. Used to be Arenado, but
sometimes it still is with me.
Not sure the exact story behind it, but basically all the broadcasters and media people found out midway through last season that he wanted to go by Arenado, and I think Arenado is how it's correctly pronounced. It just, he had let it slide by as Arenado for the first several years of his career, and then here's somebody in the family decided to correct everyone, which is good. We want to get it right. Caught at third by Justin Turner. Shutout preserved with another sparkling defensive play at the hot corner.
Nolan is very frustrated, but he does this to other people an awful lot. Justin Turner, one third baseman to another.
Sportsnet LA is brought to you by the Ram 1500 Rebel. Experience the power and toughness of Ram at your local dealer. And by Jack in the Box. Come try the new guacamole and bacon chicken sandwich only at Jack in the Box. Back in Denver, where the Dodgers are 3 outs away from taking a big 2-1 series advantage over the Rockies and drawing to within a half game in the West. Joe Davis, Orher Shizer, Alana Rizzo, and now Chad Qualls.
Qualls has been in the game, with the series I should say. He's got an inning, only 11 pitches, put up a 0. The Dodgers trying to add to their lead before they go try and protect it in the bottom of the 9th.
Brett Eibner leads off this inning. A long home run for him tonight. And cracks a liner to left that Desmond catches. Hard to hit it much harder than that. So Eibner has crushed the ball twice tonight with the first out of the 9th.
Only going to get him really high reviews from his skipper, Dave Roberts. Probably get him another opportunity somewhere down the road.
Scott Van Slyke gets an opportunity here. It'd be a bit of a disappointment for him to not be in the starting lineup with the left-handed pitcher on the mound today, but it's the good problem that Dave Roberts has, having so many options that he wants to get at bats for. Said he wanted to get Eibner in there. That paid off with him homering. Likes the way Kike's at bats look right now. Can't take Bellinger out. And that doesn't leave you with a spot for Van Slyke. 2-0. Kenley Jansen getting loose.
Dave Roberts has done a nice job keeping all the guys on the bench sharp and keeping the starters fresh. Finding ways to get the starters out and get the bench guys in for multiple at bats in a start, and then keeping them sharp as he gets at bats like this for Scott Van Slyke. Doesn't just sit there for a day, go home and wonder when his time is going. And when you see a manager use all the pieces and continually keep guys sharp, it keeps guys mentally sharp too, getting them ready before these at bats. If you haven't been used for 10-12 days, and you think there were probably 5 or 6 times where you should have gotten at bat if the manager was thinking about you, you just start to fall asleep a little bit.
Full count.
It almost surprises you when he calls on you then, but every guy on the Dodger bench has to be ready every night, any moment, any inning you could be called on, because Dave is looking for ways to get you in and looking for ways to win the game with every piece.
A pop-up on the left side of the infield. There's Arenado. 2 out. So important with these two teams. You're talking about the bullpens, how good they are to have the lead late. The Dodgers, when they lead after 8 innings, are 18-0. The Rockies, when they lead after 8 innings, are 20-0.
Why even play the 9th?
I'm with you. Let's go home. Chris's single his last time up was his first hit in a couple of nights. And hits this one back to the mound. Qualls with a 1-2-3 9th inning. On to the bottom half. Dodgers trying to finish off their first shutout at Coors Field in 3 years. Jansen and Romo getting ready. Nothing to the bottom of the 9th inning. And how about the defense for the Dodgers tonight?
Exceptional down there at the hot corner. Justin Turner from his belly, and he's done a few of those from the belly. This one, Cody Bellinger, line drive double play. And this play right here, he can go to his right and he can go to his left. He can catch it on the ground and he can catch it in the air, and he can frustrate the opponent.
So some hard hit balls, but at the hot corners, or at the hot corner and at first. Dodgers getting splendid defense as Kenley Jansen comes on in a non-save situation, but Dave Roberts not messing around, knowing how important this one is.
Well, we talked about in Coors Field, no lead is safe and 3 runs is not a save. Here, a save is like at about 5 or 6 runs. You just come in and make sure you get 3 outs.
Middle part of the order, 2. Mark Reynolds, strike 1. Kenley has been so good, even by Kenley's standards. He's been awesome this year. One and 1. 12:10 tomorrow, Los Angeles time. Julio for the Dodgers and Antonio Senzatella for the Rockies. The rookie 5-1 with a 286. Before Kershaw got the win last night, the wins were tied for the most in the league. Up the middle into center, base hit for Reynolds to open the 9th.
Ground ball that finds a hole, cutter that starts to cut away, just doesn't get off the end of the bat completely. Kenley supplied a lot of that power right there. Reynolds found the hole.
Carlos Gonzalez now. The runner at first and nobody out in a 4-0 game in the 9th. Strike 1. Last time the Dodgers were within a half game of first, May 15th or April 15th. Strike 2. Almost a month since they've been as close as they would be if they could finish this one off.
Austin Barnes doesn't even have to move the glove on that pitch.
Reynolds started the inning with a single. He's at first. And Jansen home 0-2. Gonzalez fouls it back. Ball.
Sticking with the high fastball, 4 of them in a row.
Going to it again. This time it works for the first out of the 9th.
If the hitter understands where you're going to get him out, but he still can't hit it, you might as well just go there, especially with Kenley with the late movement.
Pat Malekana, the 4-run cushion in the 9th inning. Rockies still a ways to go before the hearts start beating faster in the Dodger dugout. Kenley working against the bottom of the order here. Boy, we talked about the tone being set by the Rockies through 4 innings on Thursday night. They led 10-0. but it's been all Dodgers since that moment.
Sure has, and they finished this one off, and then it really is going to be kind of a signature series that might set the tone for the whole year from the Los Angeles Dodgers.
0-2.
To get kind of punched in the mouth in game one and respond with Clayton Kershaw to be the stopper, and then to have a night like tonight with another starter other than Clayton and Alex Wood starting to throw the ball almost better than anybody on the staff. Bullpen doing the job in the series.
1-2. Good take there from Valleca.
And really the only component that hasn't gotten it done was Ryu had a bad outing. The offense did a job in game one.
Right, through the whole series.
Defense has been fine. A little shaky yesterday, but some key double plays at the right moments. They're getting just enough runs tonight because they're getting outstanding pitching. And they're playing some really good defense.
Jansen delivers 1-2. Back-to-back Ks to open the ninth inning. And the Dodgers 1 out away from taking a 2-1 series advantage.
A lot of guys try and hit the corners, and then you think about low and in or low and away, but Kenley can hit the ones at the top of the strike zone.
So it's up to Parra to try and keep the Rockies' hopes alive. Again, 12:10 local time or LA time tomorrow on Mother's Day. Happy early Mother's Day to all the moms out there. Strike one. 10-7 Rockies in the opener Thursday. Dodgers responded with a 6-2 win last night. Rockies haven't scored since the 4th inning of that one. Here's the 0-1. Ball one. Dodgers have moved to 13-4 over the last 17 games. That is getting to be a large chunk of time where the team is playing its best. 17 games, that'd be almost half the season. 1-2 on Parra. .22 wins would bring them within a half game of the Rockies, and it'd bring them within one win of the most in the National League at this point. Rockies down to their final strike. Jansen's ready to go. Is 1-2. He got him, and the Dodgers have taken 2 of the first 3 from Colorado. They've shut the Rockies out at Coors Field for the first time in 3 years. And tomorrow, Oral, with Julio Urias taking it, will have a chance to take over first.
Rockies haven't scored for 14 innings. That 14 also is the number of strikeouts the Dodgers had tonight. They have outscored them 17-12 in this series, and they're up 2-1.
Our Lexus player of the game, Alex Wood, who has struck out 21 over his last 11 innings with back-to-back double-digit strikeout performances. Went 6 shutout innings tonight to get the win, and he's begun his season 4-0 in a year where he started out of the bullpen and has taken more than full advantage of an opportunity created because of injury. For Hershiser, Alana Rizzo, and the rest of our crew, Joe Davis saying so long from Denver. We'll talk to you tomorrow for the series finale. For now, Access Sportsnet brought to you by your Southern California Nissan dealers.